Hey guys, Claude just took over my computer. And while Claude was at it, I asked it to do some tricky things. And a couple easy tasks were thrown in there. So I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to show you how you can set this up for yourself. And we're going to see if Claude can impress us. So quickly now, if you're not aware of what computer control is, it's by Anthropic, the makers of Claude, and what this is called computer use. Now it's available on their API, and developers can use this to have it control their computer like a human would. It can click on things, type things in, move the cursor around. So different than most tools so far. And of course, at this stage, they are admitting it is still experimental. Don't expect it to be perfect. Maybe they're releasing this a little bit early, but it's a beta. Maybe it's error prone, maybe it's cumbersome, but it's experimental, and let's just test this knowing that it's not going to be perfect. But keep in mind the possibilities with this. And of course, I'm going to include this link along with the other things I show you in the description. So if you want to get more information on this, you can watch their video, look on their page for information. So about computer use, basically they're trying something new, something that's going to try to have more general computer skills, not like purpose-built for a certain thing. It's general skills of pretending it's a human, going around clicking on the desktop, doing different tasks. So where this could be useful maybe is automating repetitive tasks that you really can't just script easily. Because, a lot of things have already been automated. You can ask ChatGPT to make you a script, change all the file names to this, or convert this kind of stuff to that. You can do a lot of things automated on the back end. So this would be certain use cases where normally you'd have to do all kinds of clicking, typing in stuff here, dragging stuff over there, UI-based stuff, which sometimes you can't automate stuff in the back end really. So this could open up a lot of possibilities. And one thing we're going to ask ourselves is, how expensive is this going to be? Like if we do something that saves us a ton of time, but it cost us $10 with the API, did it really save us anything? So we're going to keep how much it costs to do all these operations in the back of our minds. But I know you guys just want to figure out how to use this, so I'm going to show you right now. Here's how to do it. First step, go to console.anthropic.com. Just make sure you go to the console.anthropic.com. This is where you create basically your API account. So once you create your account, they're going to ask you some questions. What are you using this for? Are you using it for your company? That won't take you long. Then we're going to click on Get API Keys. So make sure you're on your dashboard, click Get API Keys, and then you're going to create a key. Now it's going to give you a private key. You're going to copy this somewhere because we're going to need it in step 3. And then we're going to get Docker installed. Now it's basically like a virtual computer. We're going to do this because this computer control has the powers of a human, maybe not as quick yet, but it can control the computer, do anything you can. So imagine if somehow it got out of control, it could go on your personal computer, go to all these sites you're already logged into, see all your personal information. So we don't want that. A safer way to do this is to use a virtual machine, like a little computer that's isolated, separate from your computer. It's not your laptop or your desktop. It's a little virtual computer, a little more of a controlled environment. So Docker, that's what we're going to install if you don't have it already. If you have it already, then just go to the next step. So what we're going to do to install Docker is we're going to type how to install Docker on, and then type in your operating system. You might have Windows, Linux, Mac OS, so just type in that. So I'm Ubuntu on this particular computer. So here, install Docker Engine on Ubuntu. So depending on what steps yours has, it's not going to be super hard, I'm sure. A lot of times you can install Docker Desktop pretty easily, like on Windows. But here I'm just going to use the apt-get repository. So I'm just going to run these commands in my terminal command line, and that's going to basically install it. Run this command, and then the last thing you're going to run is docker run hello world, and that's going to tell you, hey, this is set up, this is good to go. Now if you have any problems, just ask ChatGPT. If you run into an error, it's probably going to be something common. So once you have Docker installed, this hello world command printed out something not weird, then you're good to go to the next step, which is the GitHub for Anthropic. So go to Anthropic Quick Starts. The link will be in the description too. Computer use demo. Now the README file typically has information on how to get started with the repo or how to use it, important details. So scroll down to Quick Start, running the Docker container. So now we're connecting to the API, and the first command we're going to run is export Anthropic API key equals. And then you're going to paste that key. Remember that key you just got in the first step? You're going to paste that in the command line and run that command, and that's going to save your key as a variable. So that key is basically saved in your system, and then when we run Docker run with all these arguments, particularly your key, it's going to connect to the API and run this virtual machine connecting to the Anthropic API. Remember the key you set up? So once that's set up, as long as there's no errors in your terminal, your command line, maybe. So you're going to go to localhost :8080, or maybe it's a different port. You'll have to make sure you get that right. On the right side, you got basically a simple desktop. This is going to be where you're seeing the actions done right in front of your very eyes. The left side, this is how you tell it what to do. Pretty simple. So we're gonna get to the testing here. Let's see how good it is. Oh, and I almost forgot. Make sure you put some credits in the account, your API account for Anthropic.com. This is how you will be able to pay for your usage because the actions cost money. I did a couple things and I've so far have spent like 71 cents. So I spent a little money already, almost $1 just doing some basic stuff. So it costs money. So if you want to play around with this, you'll put a little money in there. We're going to see how much we use. So I'm starting at $29.29 right now. So we're going to see all the testing that we do. How much does it cost? That's an important factor here. So let's get to the test. We'll do one thing. Here's our first challenge. We'll start easy. We'll get a little more difficult. Download the best super image. Now, I want to see how it does this. I want to see what it thinks best superhero image is. Okay, so it might think we want high quality. That's fine. So here's what it's doing. It just opened Firefox. It's going pretty quick now. See, here's the actions. It did a left click, waited for Firefox, took a screenshot. There, it found the search bar, typed in there 4K superhero wallpaper. Let's see if it goes to the images tab. I think that's where he's going next. This is pretty exciting. Oh, he's going into a website. We might run into a problem if there's more complex things that need to be done. If you need to log in or create an account, of course this is just for educational purposes. But let's see what it does. You gotta be careful. That's why you don't want to just let this thing run on its own devices. It might do stuff you don't want it to do. I tried something like this earlier and it just downloaded something from the images tab. Now it's going deep into this website. Not sure I like the approach, but it's showing that it's capable. While we're seeing this, I will say it reminds me quite a bit of a while back I was doing some UI testing with Robot Framework and Selenium. So basically it reminds me of UI testing a little bit. And I think people will probably start using this for UI testing with AI. It might speed up UI testing efforts in the future. It's not doing well at all. I guess simple sometimes isn't simple if you don't provide context and instructions. It can get complex. Alright, I see images. That's cool. Looks like he's just gonna right click it and download it. Make sure we give credit to Robocobato. Don't worry, we're not keeping the image. I'm gonna give you one more minute and then I'm gonna say you failed. I'm not waiting this long, bro. Now it's, what did you get the URL? Now it's doing a curl command. Okay. So he's not right clicking and downloading, he's actually doing some back end kind of stuff now, which is fine. But I guess it's combining the both worlds. It's doing some UI stuff, but it's doing back end scripting kind of stuff when it can. Rate limit error. This is the first thing I've done. I gotta wait an hour. I didn't do anything. So far, I'm not that impressed. I don't think I'm really using that much. It's early on, so we're not going to get mad. We waited quite a while because there was rate limits we were hitting after just trying to download an image. We'll give it another slightly easy one. Have it install Google Chrome. I tried having it install Opera browser and it didn't work out so well, so we'll just have it try something commonly used. I didn't tell it how to do this, so it looks like it's just going to download this with a curl command. Don't use the UI if you don't have to. It's running apt install. Looks like there's some errors happening. They don't see Chrome. Trying to verify that they did install Chrome. Let's see what happens. I almost want to stop this because I don't want to use all my rate limits on trying to install Chrome. Alright, we're going to test its LibreOffice, or basically the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet equivalent, because sometimes you might have to enter data into a spreadsheet. I know if you're creating some data from scratch, you could just have ChatGPT put all the data in a CSV format and then you open that in a spreadsheet and it'll probably be pretty good. But maybe we have some specific thing we need to do. We're going to do a simple test, but definitely we're going to need to see it working in the UI. So open Libre and add some test data. Now I tried this one other time and I was purposely vague and it didn't do it exactly how I wanted to. Some columns and rows were named weird and they were misaligned, so it wasn't pretty. They made up data that fit the requirement. I'm going to be a little more specific to see if it can follow my instructions. If we tell it exactly what to do, then we're testing how good is it at doing what I asked it to do. So add some testing in the fields. The data will be fictional sample users, their age, country of origin, F name, L name, do 10 fictional users. Of course, a reasonably complex ask on the UI for something like this. How is it going to handle this pop-up? This annoying pop-up. Wow, it closed it. It's smart. What's cool, it tells you all the actions it's doing. The action in this JSON format. Mouse move. This is the coordinates of the mouse move. That's really cool. That's a screenshot of what it was just seeing. Left click, okay. Close it. Move. Left click. Alright, so now it's on column A, row 1. Oh, this is kind of slow. We're definitely at the point where a human could do this 100 times faster. But it's a proof of concept. This may, someday, do crazy things. 5 years ago, I would not have guessed all the things that even ChatGPT would be able to do. Oh my gosh. It's taking like a minute for each column. Let's do one more. This is fun. You know what? Probably use Claude AI to generate all of it at once. Yuki. Oh, it's going to be Japan. All right, now, the next thing is going to be a little more difficult. So when I was playing around with this, I said, hey, don't log into any websites or anything like that. Just make me money. I was vague. I wanted to see what it would do. And already it has some safeguards in place. It's not going to just make you money. There's kind of some restrictions around that. But if you asked it specific tasks to help automate your business or to help you produce something that you're going to use to make money, then I think it's fair game. Make me a digital asset that I can use to directly or indirectly make money online. This could be a short but useful blueprint or anything fast and easy. We'll say that. People like fast and easy. Who doesn't? All right, here we go. Running the agent. It hasn't frozen. Let's see what it comes up with. I gave it a little bit of instructions. I said, hey, make me something. I didn't just tell it, go log in here, to go log into Warrior Plus and look at all those, get me affiliate links, paste those affiliate links all over the place on Pinterest. I didn't tell it to run my whole business for me. I just asked it something reasonable. So it's going to come up with stuff to put in the guide, it looks like, and then it's going to put those in a text file or something. All right, so it already wrote the short guide. Now they're going to convert this guide that they made into a PDF, a quick start guide. People like quick start guide for making money through freelancing. That's actually pretty effective. One of the ways you can make money quicker with an online business is selling a service or freelancing. Doesn't take as long as some other things. Now they're having trouble with the PDFs. We're missing some dependencies. Now they're going to install the dependencies. Let's see if this works, or is it going to use all my API credit? Oh, it's doing stuff. Oh, now it needs something else. Apt-utils. All right, maybe we'll only give it a couple minutes to try and make this into a PDF, because I could do that. This is basic. You could get like a 20-paragraph guide from ChatGPT or Claude immediately. You know, this use case isn't amazing either, but if there was a bunch of UI things you had to do to make some fancy PDF, then sure, someday this could work. But this is a quick start guide. Morning, steps 1 through 2. Afternoons, 3 through 4. Evening, proposals. So that's how you get your first client, it looks like. Some basic advice. Start. Don't wait for perfection. None of this is wrong, but I don't think someone's gonna buy this. I don't think anyone would find this very valuable. This is the shortest quick start guide I've ever seen. Hey, copyright 2024. Make sure no one sells this advice as their own. I'm gonna sell this thing on gumroad.com. Hey, they're just giving you a proof of concept. Like, just imagine you had a pretty good guide. They give you some ideas. You could sell it here, sell it on Etsy, sell it on your website, use it for lead generation, help build your email list. Alright, so this is somewhat practical advice, and the guide admittedly is pretty disappointing. It'll get better. Alright, we got through that one. Now let's do the fun one. We're gonna have computer control try to make us a simple video game. Now, we'll probably run into rate limits galore when we try this, but I want to try it because this is fun. So create a simple 2D game in Pygame. I took the liberty to install Python and Pygame so that we don't have to wait 2 hours for it to install. I installed that, and here's the instructions. I want you to make me a simple 2D game. See? Requirement already satisfied. I did it for you. Let this run. Alright, they created the game already, I guess. If this works, I'm going to be really surprised. So it wrote the code. Looks relatively complete. Some conditionals there, collisions, score, different labels. It's gonna try to run it. Now, you know, making the game is pretty cool, but of course it's leveraging AI in the backend to write the code. And then what would be really cool is to see it play the game. He's probably having fun without even me seeing. He's playing right now. AI's like, wait a second, I can have fun? I don't want to work for these humans anymore. I just want to go home and play video games. That's what he's thinking. The AI is representative of society today. Alright, they're describing the game. White triangle is your spaceship. Red circles are the meteors. Move left and right. Don't let the meteors hit you. Pretty cool. Basic shapes. I want to play this game. Can't be serious. What is going on? I think its code is bad. Game does not run. Cannot find card 0. Can he fix errors? I don't need an audio device. Alright, looks like it launched the game Space Dodger. I don't know what's going on. Is it playing? Let me control it. Let me play. Come on. Press R to restart. Alright. Whoa! Oh my gosh. This is awesome. I would actually play this game for at least like 6 minutes at the airport. Oh, this is actually good. This is fun. It's not easy, but it's semi-doable. They made sure that it was at least semi-doable. I'll quit at like 110 if I don't get hit because I'm just too good. I don't have time for no games. Except when I'm making a video. Whoa, okay, I'll let it get me. Game over. Wow, that was fun. This was just as good as the games that Grok and GPT-01 made for me. Cool. Whoa, you see that? There's even a cool logo at the bottom. That was cool. So, this one is going to be a possibly useful use case. So, my first thought was maybe I'll use ChatGPT, but I don't want this to be in my GPT account clicking around. So we're going to use ideogram, just image generation. So, using ideogram, have it generate a picture of a piece of cheese, then download any of the 4 images that it generates. Do this again for a medium piece of cheese and a large piece. In the end, this should have it generate 3 sets of images. Pick one of each of the series. This is kind of a lot of clicking and evaluating with the UI that it might not be familiar with. We're gonna make me smaller. Put me like right here. Let's put in the instructions in there. Now it's waiting for it to generate. They're just gonna keep checking to see when it is done. But it's not smart enough. We need to go to creations, otherwise we're not gonna see. My rate limit has been exceeded, but I took like 2 hours break. Hey, I am back. I'm wearing a different shirt because I hit the rate limits, so I'm coming back at a later time just to do one last test on interacting with different websites. I'm gonna minimize myself. Now we are on Copilot. I'm just gonna tell Claude computer use to ask Copilot to generate an image of a piece of cheese. Then on the Copilot UI, download these images as JPEGs to the local machine. The point is to see if we can automate some basic stuff that you might do. Can it interact with some other AI chat bot? Can it interact with Copilot? Can it download images? Now we might run into are you a robot check, but that's okay. It even added a little bit of detail to the image generation prompt. Now let's see if it's patient and waits for it to generate. I'm not saying this is the main use case. You're probably better off using an API or doing some of this yourself. But it's a fun test. So that actually worked. It generated the image. It's interacting with Copilot. Pretty cool. Wow, it's generating more images. Now, what I want is you to download these images. That's the part that usually requires human intervention, unless you have some sort of automation in place. Or if you have certain plugin installed, you can right click and save as JPEG or PNG. Oh, it looks like it downloaded it. This actually could save you some time. Still running. But you can clearly see the cheese picture is in the downloads. Whoa, well, look at that cheese. Now what's he doing now? Is he changing the permissions? Oh, okay, there you go, guys. We hit a rate limit error again. We did a little bit of stuff before we hit the rate limits. It asked Microsoft Copilot to generate a piece of cheese, and then it asked it to generate another one. So I typed in text commands twice, and then it downloaded something. So there's a handful of clicks in there, handful of screenshots to read the screen. But it's still pretty wild. Like in real life, you could basically do nothing with this because you hit rate limits right away. But of course, this is early, and I'm sure it'll change in the future. Alright, so that's all the testing we'll do today. There's a lot of things I wanted to do, but I think we've done enough for now. So using this, I got the idea that, of course, they admitted it's experimental, it's early in the process, so it's not perfect yet, but it's pretty cool to see it work. See there? I got $28.38 remaining. We started this whole process out with 30 bucks, so it didn't cost that much, but I hit rate limits so frequently after doing basically nothing. But we're going to watch your career with great interest. Alright, I hope you found this video somewhat informative, and if you want to follow the steps and use this for yourself, you can. If you like this kind of content and want to stay up to date with AI, you can check out my video right about here where I review ChatGPT-01. I go over all the different tests, see how good it really is. And if you found this video useful and want to stay up to date with all this AI stuff, subscribe below. We'll see you next video.